Canine Detection Collaborative, a detection dog training trio with Stacy Barnett.
Hi.
Robin Greubel.
Hey there.
And Crystal Wing.
What's up?
With humor and a big dose of theory, our trio talks practical training advice and features interviews with top trainers and scientists. It's Canine Detection Collaborative.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Canine Detection Collaborative. This is Stacy Barnett, and I am here with my two awesome, amazing co-hosts, Robin Greubel.
Hello.
And Crystal Wing.
Hi, friends. You should have chose D. There's lots of D words.
So the two of us are in Iowa on Robin's farm, and Crystal's in between two trees.
Right. On a hill. Well, and it was really...
in Missouri.
And it was really funny because we just, talking about the Ds, we just finished with distraction camp.
Yes.
And so this is our distraction camp.
Ooh, nice transition.
I know. Look at me go.
That was very nice.
Distraction Camp 2025 download.
Yes.
And the group we had was amazing. And they contributed to our D list deliberately.
Deliberately, yes.
They were delightful.
They were.
Delightful. They were, I can't think of any D words.
You have not had enough caffeine.
Oh. Wow.
We were blessed enough to have nosework handlers and cadaver dog handlers and a conservation auditor all hanging out together and to see we learned some very interesting facts about corn sweat in Iowa, that corn does sweat.
It does sweat. And how much does it sweat?
I believe 1 ear of corn sweats 4 cups of water a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think gallons of water per acre.
I don't know. It was a lot.
I don't know. But we think Carrie actually figured that one out in the middle of the night after. It was some sort of like ungodly amount of water.
Yeah.
Like, well, no wonder.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah. So happy corn sweat.
All I know is I get back from California where the air was light and airy. And then I get there and I'm like taking out a knife and a fork to cut through the air to eat so I can even breathe it. It's just like, well, I grew up in the Midwest, but all of a sudden I forgot about how thick the air was. I was so spoiled being in California.
Yeah. Yeah. The weather, I feel that way after I get back from like Colorado and it's like this dry and lovely and nice. And then you go back and go, can't breathe anymore.
As Joe put it, it's the air you can wear.
Yes.
So yeah, just ridiculously crazy. But it was so fun to see all of the people coming through and everything that we ended up being able to do with all of the handlers.
Yeah, they really were. This was a group that it was just amazing just watching the transformation. I mean, all the groups, every year we do this. We get a group of students that go through and it doesn't fail at all. Like they just transform over the period of a week and it's magical. And we always finish up and we're always inspired by the students and all the hard work that goes on. It really was amazing how inspirational they were. Like that transformation that they all, it blows my mind every single year. It just blows my mind.
I remember sitting, because one of the fun things is always watching when we do the 2 minutes of engagement on the last day and the growth that all the students go through. And my cheeks hurt because I was grinning and there were tears because you could tell that the aha moments happened where they were like, oh, this is what it's supposed to feel like. And Crystal, I like cats was like the saying this year. I like cats.
I like cats. And you want to explain to us what I like cats means? Because it really was amazing.
Yes.
So I stole that from Nancy. That was all Nancy. So Nancy is my training buddy and best friend back home. And what happens is we start getting a little bit I kind of call it needy. I'm trying to figure out a better way of saying it because I was kind of teasing about being the needy girlfriend because that's kind of my generation. So it was always the cool guy, is always the hard to get. And so sometimes we start being a little bit too pushy. And so it's about pulling and not pushing because when you start, that attraction is going to come, whether it's in a relationship, in training or whatever, it's going to come from being interesting and not overly available. And that's where the I like cats came in. So we would start getting so pushy and so like, I'm fun, damn it. Like I have all the things and take my toy and take my food and love me. And the dog is like, dude. So then we kind of adopted a I like cats mentality, which a lot of us do love cats, but it was just to say, kind of back off a little, like allow a little more pulling and don't push so hard, start talking. And it was really funny. My favorite one was I actually, in my engagement session with one of the handlers, one of the trainers, her dog she was kind of starting to play and the dog was kind of saying, this is too much right now. And I said, do you like cats? And she goes, actually, I do. And so I was like, what kind of cats do you like? And she starts telling me about this really awesome cat that's like a Norwegian cat. And I'm like, oh, is that the tufted ears? And in the meantime, her dog was looking at her like, hello, I'm here. So we literally were talking about cats. And her dog started looking at her like, hello, hi, and started getting needy to her.
That's awesome.
And she turned and looked at her dog, and her dog was like, hi, hello. And I was like, tell me more about the cat. And she goes, oh, I see what you're doing here. And then her dog jumped up and like booped her and was like, I want to play. And she's like, oh, now you want to play? Okay. So it's just kind of role reverse a little bit instead of us, because we are fun and we know that we have good stuff and we know that we love our dogs and we know our dogs love us. But sometimes we just get a little bit too much push and we need to instill a little more pull in our relationship.
Yeah. That can be hard to do. That can be hard.
Oh, it's really hard. It's almost impossible. I mean, we spent so much time trying to get our dog to engage with us when sometimes we just have to step back and let them actively engage with us. And that's what the first day was really about, was about looking at how we build that engagement and why that's so important in the searching. And so I think that was the piece that I think people find interesting. If you want to speak to that about why the engagement is so important while searching when they're independent of us even.
Yeah. I mean, the engagement, while they're independent of us, maybe we can both kind of answer this one, Robin, because it really comes down, for me, it comes down to teamwork. And it is really never like, I have to say the words never and always, never an all or nothing, right? And it gets down to the crux of, we've had a lot of conversations. We've got intentional handling coming up next week, that it's not about just the dog out there searching all by itself. And it's not about the handler doing the heavy lifting either. It's about teamwork. And I think one of the reasons why the engagement is so important is that it helps to support a lot of that teamwork. Number one. And number two, it helps to feed your reinforcement system. So if you have engagement, you can have reinforcement. And if you have reinforcement, you can have odor obedience. And so when you put those two things together, like the engagement is like this core component.
Yeah. And when the engagement piece, when we start thinking about, we actually modified our talking about this. I think this year, Crystal, you came up with new words because we were talking about it as play. We had been talking it previously as 2 minutes of play. And what really ended up kind of coming through to a lot of us as instructors is that when we say play to a lot of our students, it really, really started looking, they had that mental picture of, I have to use a thing. I have to use a toy. It can't be food. It can't be all of this other stuff. And really what we're looking for is, can you walk into a space and look at the dog and say, hey, let's go do a thing. And the dog says, okay, I want to do a thing with you. And it doesn't matter how you get there. And it's being in the same space together and doing a thing. whether it's sitting there together or doing obedience or catching bubbles or running around looking goofy or dissecting a fur ball or whatever it is, you're doing a thing together. And that's the piece of engagement that just by us changing that word, it was awesome.
I think it also took the pressure off of people because I think sometimes, and Crystal can definitely talk to this, where, when we want people to play, they feel so much pressure. And I see this even just when I tell people to praise. It's like all this pressure of like, and then you end up with just a lot of noise because they're trying to like force it out rather than like really connecting. And by changing that word from play to engagement, I felt like people relaxed a little bit more. And when they relaxed, it happened because it wasn't going to happen when they tried to force it.
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of like forcing a fart. It can get real messy. Like, you got to be careful.
It can.
Wow, man.
Wow.
It really is, though, because it can get there real fast. And you got to be careful because, again, it's that pushing.
Instead of pulling.
You're definitely hanging out with your dad or something right now.
We don't know.
That's just like, that comes from hanging out with dads.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to miss my high school kids. I'm still in high school mode. That's 23 years of that nonsense.
Oh my God. I'm like sitting here like, that's really funny. That's really funny.
Oh my goodness.
But true.
So I'm going to give up one of my secrets that I do at the beginning of a lot of my play seminars. So if you've already been to one or you're going to come to one, pretend like you didn't hear this if you're going to come to one. One of the things I do is I try to work on mindset. And so I ask people to do some general stuff at the beginning. So I ask them to stand up and to stretch, and I do some relaxation things. And they think that's what it's about. So they really start feeling relaxed and in the moment. And I do some just get you in the moment kind of stuff, because I don't like to do a bunch of icebreaker stuff because I didn't like doing that as a student. It doesn't feel comfortable for me. Then one of the things after doing the things you can do very easily, stand up, stretch, do this, do that, put your, whatever. Then I say play as one of the verbs to do. And it's so funny to see people's reactions to that because they don't know what to do. And you'll have a couple people that just go wild and they start running around and getting silly. But most people don't know what to do because it is such a big term. Like seems like a simple verb, but it really is hard. And so I think because of changing it to connect with your dog, engage with your dog, that feels like something people can do a little differently. And something that was really powerful for me was we all got to show different play styles and engagement styles. So each of us went first so that we could show students that, we're all in this together and we're going to be just as vulnerable because we really do a good job, I believe, in creating a safe space. And that's where I think UConn shines because I really don't know what dog I'm going to get. And I know that he's not going to be the crazy play dog that's going to go around and tug the toys. And he's going to take a lot of time and he's going to want a lot of cuddles. And it was really nice. It just really speaks to every group we've had has been wonderful. And this group was so nice too. I had 3 different people on my way of putting him back to the car that were very appreciative. And they were saying, it was so nice to see this big Dutchie that was rolling on the ground and you were tickling his belly. And that's what you did for engagement. They're like, that took so much pressure off. And usually that's Y's job.
Awesome.
Yes.
So Y didn't get to play this year for that job.
No, Y is having some back issues and liver issues. And he's gotten old this year. And
he did.
It's actually kind of hard for me right now. He's 14 now, and now he's actually starting to be 14. And I hate this change. Like, I love senior dogs, but when they go from senior to old, it's so hard because last year he was senior, this year he's old, and he's fully retired from nose work because I can't ask him to go. And I mean, he loves sniffing, but he'd also with his back, like he doesn't have the physical stamina to get through it anymore. And he has, we brought him in, I think he's got like the vet had said spondylosis or whatever in his back. And then he's also got liver issues. It's really hard, but I didn't want to take him out. And
yeah, it was interesting for us to have to, because you talk about using UConn which is the big scary Dutchie that needs to do this different type of engagement. And we're going through all of our different types of dogs, right? And we have a behind the scenes flow, which probably shouldn't shock anybody, that our curriculum is very, it's all written down. We have a curriculum because Crystal makes us have a curriculum. And
yep.
Sorry.
But no,
sorry.
it's actually, no, you shouldn't be sorry because it's fabulous.
Yeah, because then we have it for next year instead of having to like
rehash it. And everything, every single exercise for 5 days builds on each other. And we're having to go through because the A team, the first string, is all out on medical.
Yeah, I know. We had Y and Flair in there somewhere, and we're like, and Prize even, we're like, well, Prize got spayed, Flair got spayed,
right.
Y's out.
Right.
We're like, so okay, second string.
Second string.
Luckily, we got the dogs for it. Like I brought Jack out, and he played in the side yard for his very first time ever, and I was thrilled with him, considering he never played out there. But the students got to see, like, okay, here's 12-week-old puppy, never played out here, that kind of thing. So
yeah. Anyway, so it was fun watching some of the dogs from the first moment, the first engagement session, to that last engagement session, and go, where'd that dog come from?
Right.
I'm like, holy cow, I didn't realize that dog was in there, which is fantastic.
I know, right? Yeah, it was just seeing them just change. And then to see them like at the very end, it was just like, who's this?
Yeah. I believe Tug Away See You Win probably is going to be making a whole bunch of toys.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think they're going to be super busy. Busy.
I know. I need to place another order.
And I know Crystal's, I think, was it a fund for the search and rescue? Is it like a
scholarship?
Scholarship. That's the word I was trying to look for. Like the scholarship fund, I think is probably doing very well after distraction camp, hopefully.
Yeah, I love Tug Away See You Win. Sherry and her daughter do a fabulous job making great toys.
We'll have a link in the show notes. They have some really fun stuff. But the fact that it was hot and humid, and we were flipping in and out of, not only did we have the weather as a distraction, but we also ended up having the semis coming through.
Right.
And then we had all the activities of the farm going on, and plus a brand new baby donkey.
Yes. And you were AIing cows.
Oh, and AIing cows, all during distraction camp. So that all happens all at once. So there you go.
Yes.
And we always say every distraction is a possible reinforcer.
Some of those, no.
True. Very true.
I will say during one of my sessions, I get to work with teams, and they get to work with just on I think it's Thursday, and they can use my brain for however they want. So they've been doing a lot of searching. They've been doing a lot of stuff. And it's like, okay, come cool off in the AC, or what do you need? And one of them wanted to work on recall. And so we went outside for that. And they're like, yeah, but let's do it inside. And I'm like, oh no, let's use the power of shade. So using the environment as our reinforcer. So it was like, let's play out in the warm sun area and then run to shade, and your dog will recall beautifully every time. It works like a charm. So we have a pool and have some shade and send them on out to the heat, and they'll come running right back to you.
Amazing how that works.
Oh, it was too funny. They're like, I've never had such an amazing fast recall. And then when I explained what we were doing, they're like, no way.
That's pretty awesome.
So again, even environmental reinforcer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hadn't thought of that one. We did talk about last night, Robin, I, and Laurel Ann, we had the puppies out at the pond, and we were talking about how it is a reinforcer to bring the toy back because they have to get out of the pond.
The pond. So
it helps, they're not going to take it and run off because they got to get out. So it's kind of the same
the concept.
idea.
Yeah. Let's teach
Yeah, the
retrieve.
concept is the same.
And if they like to retrieve, they'll go out and get the bumper. And then
Right.
as long as you don't throw it too far and you're Belle who wants to go out and retrieve toads.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Oh,
You can
geez.
she'll turn around and she'll bring the bumper back automatically. And it's like, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Instead of swimming
There were
across
so many
the pond.
frogs up there. She was just like, frog going in now.
Yes, I can retrieve a frog. I guess it's a frog, not a toad.
No.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's green.
Yeah.
Do toads come in green?
I think toads have warts and frogs are the ones that are in water. I don't remember.
Oh boy.
It was in water and
too.
it was green. So I'm just going to go with Kermit.
Okay. Yeah, it's Kermit, whatever. So it's a frog.
It's Kermit. She's just going for Kermit.
Speaking
And,
of distractions,
totally.
Yes. Well, and it was very interesting to be able to, and Crystal, oh my God, you cracked me up because we were talking about our distraction, the 6 Ds of detection, right? And you piped up out of the corner of, oh my God, the mommies are fighting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was really funny because, of course, we have the whole 4 versus 6.
6 and that whole thing. And I literally about peed my pants.
Yeah.
that's one of our club jokes, Cat and Club. She always says, she's like, oh, the mommies are fighting because Nancy and we're like sisters. I mean, we've traveled the country together. We just went to California and back. We've been to South Dakota and back. We've been to Ohio so many times I can't even count. And so when you have that kind of relationship with someone, you'll just say what you feel. Like we just know each other so well. And so anytime there's any sort of, I think this, you think this, like, oh, the mommies are fighting.
We're just like, no, and in the end, we don't really care how many Ds that
We
people
don't. That's the best part.
We don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just think about it before you do it.
Just
That's
Make
all.
sure there's 4 and then you're fine.
Well, you're only going to have a partial answer.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. One of my favorite parts was then one of the students was like, so what you're telling me is Crystal's a lumper. And
No, I heard that. I nearly spit. I think I was drinking a Diet Coke and nearly spit it out. And I'm like,
I know. Oh, those are
I was
fighting
like,
words.
or,
those were fighting words.
but anyway, it did bring up a good conversation about lumping then. So that was good.
It did.
It did. And it also helped us to articulate kind of like why, like in our own brains, why the number of Ds that we use actually makes sense to us, because in the end, it has to make sense to you, right?
Yes.
And although I am definitely team 6D, right? If you're having a hard time kind of like parsing things apart and it's just not like organizing correctly in your brain, and it to the point where like even it could get in the way of your training, like then think of 4 if that helps you.
If that makes your brain happy, go right ahead.
Right. Because we're all wired.
I mean, I'm still in my 40s. So because I'm in my 40s, I'm going to stick with 4 Ds. But
Okay.
Can we mute her?
yeah, you can. You can.
Sometimes yes.
What do you mean
My internet connection's doing a good enough job at it.
Yeah,
So
that's true. That's true. I'm saying
I've been kicked
40s.
out at least 6 times so far. So this has been great fun.
Well, neither of us are in our 60s yet, Robin or I.
I know.
So we're
there
still
you
going with 60s. So your logic just doesn't hold. I'm sorry.
It holds for me. It holds for me, though. You said, do what makes sense for you. So here I am.
One of the things that I found so inspiring, yet again,
As she changes the subject. I see what you're doing there.
I know.
Needed.
Yes. Thank you.
Is how they advocated for their dogs.
Oh, yeah.
And as the week went on, they advocated harder.
Yeah.
And the fun of it is that I remember when we first started doing distraction camp, the hunting in the chicken coop was graduation.
Right.
I believe that now happens on what day? Beginning of day 4?
Yeah, I think the donkey barn's more graduation now.
I think donkey barn is now graduation.
But I guess it depends on the dog, right? Some dogs, we had, I think our first year, we had a dog that was really birdy.
Right. Just really, really, it really depends on the dog. And the dogs, we have different options on what they can do and where we send students to go hide things.
Mhm.
And it's just fantastic fun to see us kind of take the training wheels off the students.
Yeah.
Right. And oh boy, do they figure it out.
Oh, they do. They do. And do you remember we had that one student that came up to us and said, I really, really, really want to do this search, but my dog is, and she kind of ticked off all these reasons, right? My dog's a little tired. My dog had this really great session earlier. And all these reasons why she wasn't going to do the search.
And it was amazing.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's incredible.
Right.
You talk about advocating for your dog like that.
Right.
I mean, whoever goes to a seminar and actually says, my dog's tired, I'm sitting this search out,
right.
even though I want to do it.
Even though I really, really, really want to do this, but I can't because it's just going to be a cluster.
Or just even that. She was just like, it's just not going to be as good as I think it should be.
Right.
I've never seen that.
I haven't either.
That was amazing.
And that's something, when you said the advocate for your dog, I was kind of sitting back as a listener going, wow, what are you guys making them do? That they have to advocate for their dog.
Yeah.
So do you have some more examples of why or how people advocated? Like I have a bunch that came to my mind, but I do want to clarify and make it not sound like we're putting them in these terrible situations that they had to stand up for their dog.
Gosh, no. I mean, we give them options. We call it choose your own adventure, right? We call it choose your own adventure. And we give them options in terms of, so they can move the slider on difficulty, right? And what we do is we really teach the handler how to set the dog up for success. And a part of advocating for your dog is really understanding what's going to actually help to bring that success forward. So we're not having everybody just run all the same hides, right? That's not what this is. This isn't your typical nosework seminar where you just go and everybody looks for all the same hides or whatever. And, you get that search and rescue too. It's like all the same stuff, right? But no, this was all about, we're turning you guys into thoughtful trainers, and advocating for your dog means, how do you modify the exercise and how do you make the right choices for your dog so that your dog can be successful?
Right. And how are you setting up problems? And it was so lovely to see people be like, okay, that's where the hide is. Everybody else is starting from this spot. I'm starting from this spot. So they're choosing a totally different spot to start from based on what their dog needs, and their training objective, which is fantastic.
Yes.
And for some dogs, some people are like, okay, this is what's hard about this problem for me. So I'm going to start here. And I'm like, okay, rock on. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, fantastic. Yay team.
Yeah.
They were, and it was so interesting and fun to see all of the different, we had everything from Cavalier King Charles Spaniels all the way up to Chesapeakes to Pomeranians,
Papillon.
Malinois.
Papillon and Malinois.
Papillon, sorry. I always say that one wrong. Ugh. Butterfly.
They're cool dogs.
I love her dog.
Yeah.
I have seen so many paps that I really like.
Yes, same.
They're a cool little dog.
Right.
Yeah.
If I was a little dog person, that'd be my dog.
Same.
And I have to tell you, his owner connects with him. They really have a beautiful relationship. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite engagement sessions too, when she came into play. And she was like, I've lost this really special game that we had at home because of this little mistake that we made. And, just not a mistake, but an accident. And we worked through how to start building that precious little game again. And that was, there was 3 times this week that I got so choked up that my eyes leaked a little. And I can be more stoic than that. I don't get too choked up. I can hold it back. But there were 3 times. That was one of them. I'm like, oh, you got me. You got me.
You got
me.
Oh my God.
And I was just thinking about some of the other little mixes and the border collie. And it was such a cool mix of, I will tell you, I have a soft spot for this kind of seminar because the breeds are so different.
Yeah.
That it is, as a trainer, it's challenging in a different way. And as an instructor, it's challenging in a different way because it gives you different challenges with the different dogs and the different handlers.
Yeah. And that's super common in nose work, but it's still like what is not what I loved. So I'm trying to say this in the right way because I don't want to, because they're my people, right?
Right.
Is that I loved how people were so committed in being good trainers and that it's not, yeah, but my dog is short, or yeah, but my dog is lower drive, or yeah, but like I didn't hear the yeah, buts.
There were no yeah, buts.
No, it was more like, okay, this is my dog and this is the dog I'm bringing. We heard this several times, like, well, this is the dog I have here with me today, and how to adapt and elevate the dog you have versus we get into, well, kind of like the excuse making, like there wasn't any of that. And it was really nice.
Right. It was really nice.
I think it allows everybody to go further and faster because you don't have to work through that mental hang up. And so that was nice not to have to work through any of that.
Yeah.
I love seeing one of my things was standing out as we were talking. One of the trainers was outwardly, you would think that her dog loves people because her dogs go up to people and go and say hi. And then everybody thinks, oh, your dog just loves this so much. But you can see there's a lot of conflict there. And then once the dog is engaged with strangers, then it's like, oh, I don't know what to do. Doesn't feel good. This is stressful.
Yeah.
And I love that she created a progression through the last 3 days, especially of creating environments where each day it was creating the training building as this really safe space that the dog is pulling her into. Like, absolutely, I have to get there. That's the most wonderful place ever. And then being able to layer in some problem solving, which her dog really loves to do. And the problem solving is building the confidence that then when the people start being in that space, it's just like, hey guys, come play this game with me. Everybody come on in. Like you could see the dog saying, yeah, this space is great. I don't care that people are here. In fact, you come on over and watch what I'm doing over here, and parading and then taking that into the search. It was one of the most just brilliant training decisions, and just watching the use of the play and the problem solving to build the confidence to then bring into the search was really a highlight for me. That was a really special time.
Having one of the dogs who was timid, come up and actually ask for interaction in the chicken coop, nonetheless.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That was one of those moments. And one of the other students actually, and I need to share this with you guys, because Crystal, this is probably one of those things. She actually got it in silhouette that you can actually see the dog go, I don't move. And you can see the dog from leaning backwards to going upright to leaning forward to asking me to interact.
Wow.
Right. And that was one of those moments where it just became one of those, wow, this is phenomenal for the confidence that we can give some of these dogs.
Yeah.
You can come into a chicken coop that has 70 or 80 chickens hanging out around in it. Oh, plus the cats are judging you.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And the Chewy, TS, and Elliot and Bonnie showed up en force this year.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
man.
They called it the cat house, not the chicken
But
coop.
I think that's why we said we like cats. They came out.
In force. Yes.
They felt our love.
Yeah.
And we're literally like, hey, you guys wanted us, so we're here. And I'm like, okay, great. Thanks a lot for letting us know you also like peeing in my garage. Not appreciated.
One of the things, a highlight for me was I'm really fortunate to be able to train with so many amazing trainers across the country right now, doing this whole like traveling everywhere and sleeping everywhere and just whoever I can train with, I train with. And one of the people in California, I loved her trick. She uses a little Bringzell from Germany. And it's just like it looks like a mini duffel bag is what it looks like a tiny dog mouth sized duffel bag. And so it has some treats in it. And what she would do is she would give it to her sensitive Mal, and then that would allow her Mal to walk around and visit people, but have something to occupy her mouth. And then when she would go back to her mom and she felt comfortable, she would put that in her mom's hand. So she would take treats out of it and feed her.
Oh, wow.
And so it was her way of communicating to her mom that I feel comfortable and safe enough to eat now. And so I told that story to one of the handlers we had here that, had a more sensitive dog. And it was such a beautiful, she figured it out with her dog. She said, okay, if I give her the ball, then she will hold the ball and she'll walk around. And then when she feels comfortable, she'll drop the ball to let me know she can take food. And so it was a similar kind of thing that we were creating. Yeah. And it gave her that voice to say, I feel comfortable enough now. And so it became such a powerful tool for her to use. And that was one of my big takeaways of seeing how other people, other handlers, I can learn from them and then share those stories and say, I don't have the answer for you, but this is what they did. What can you do to adapt with your dog? And I really feel like we made huge leaps with her this week because she was able to have that voice to share with us. The dog was able to say, now I feel comfortable. Right. And so she said she took that on several of her searches too, that when her dog dropped the ball, that she said, okay, now go search, because she knew that she had enough time to kind of take in the world and say, I feel safe now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was awesome.
So I don't know if that helps anybody else out there, but if it can, that was a big one.
Well, and usually, because you think about it with dogs, that if they could take the toy, right, that's usually the meaning that they are okay.
Right.
Yeah. But being the retriever type, for her, was carrying the thing was safety.
Right.
And then when she can finally eat, she's like, okay, I can eat now. I'm feeling okay now. Yeah, thanks, Mom. A little shake off and yeah, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It really was an amazing week.
Yeah.
It always is an amazing week.
Can we talk about Bubbles?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yes. Please talk about Bubbles.
So talking about creative handlers and ones that we talked about reinforcement and reinforcement hierarchy. It's not a new concept, but when we really make you take it as homework and make you think about it, I think that's important for everybody, is to really think about what is it that your dog loves. And one of the things that her little spaniel loves is to chase summer snow. So think about the cottonwood. If you're in any area that has cottonwood, it's like little poofs of cotton that fall out of the trees. And it looks like summer snow. It's just white and it's lofty. And you could also think about it for flies and other things, right? But so she was like, how do I take and harness that desire that she has to chase that summer snow? And she was like, I've done bubbles before, and she likes to chase bubbles. And then so Alyssa, who is just a phenom, she kept us so organized and so on task. We can talk about her in a second.
Yeah.
But she said, go talk to Crystal about bubbles. So here she comes walking up to the training building and she's like, okay, Alyssa said talk about bubbles. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, you are genius, absolutely genius. And so we just put a whole plan together of how to put it on cue and use that as a reinforcement. And she could take that. She used it in her searching. She used it in her engagement. But it's just having that creative problem solving, that creative thought process. What a genius trainer to be able to take that now and use the chasing of the bubbles to mimic the chasing of the cottonwood and the chasing of the flies and give an outlet for that. So using the distractions in our environment and now using it as a reinforcement. Oh, it was so fun. It was so fun to watch.
Well, and to watch that dog come out, and you wouldn't think, and she could alternate from bubbles to prey drive. I want to kill this little toy, to bubbles, to a little lotus toy, back to bubbles, and all sorts of things. It was just really, really interesting to watch that whole progression. And it was just really, really interesting and lovely. I really appreciate, so we had, without our helpers, because we do have helpers that help.
We have amazing helpers.
Distraction Camp. So first and foremost, my intern this year is Laurel Ann Pilkington. She comes from the University of Cobleskill out of New York. She's with their canine sciences program. And so she's been here since March 1st. She's helped whelp both litters of puppies and AI cows and rescued Joe from a couple pastures, and in general doing all sorts of farm stuff, plus is also helping with distraction camp and whatever other random stuff she's helping me do.
But just having her there to take care of the puppies and walk the dogs so that you guys could really focus on the students.
Oh my gosh. And do chores. She's like, what do you need me to do? I'm like, you're doing chores.
Yeah, because I mean, that stuff doesn't go away just because you're teaching.
Right.
No, it stays there.
Yeah.
And like Stacy had to run to the vet. I had to run to the vet. Like it was a stressful trying to figure out how to put all this in and not let the students know all of the behind the scenes that was so stressful for us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It was so wonderful having them help us.
Yeah.
Couldn't have done it without them.
Yeah. Linda. Poor Linda.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I know. But she flew up, like literally flew from Florida just to help us.
Just to help us out.
Yeah.
She had a little bout with some food poisoning.
Oh, poor thing.
Yeah.
You know.
But she ended up doing a lot of the lunch prep stuff.
Yeah.
Which when we have basically 16 students, 3 instructors and 3 helpers.
Yep.
Running amongst the farm.
Yeah.
And of course, our food menu changes because when you do a potluck and people bring enough to feed an army.
Right.
Oh my gosh. The food they brought was phenomenal this year. I mean, no offense to previous years because we've had some amazing stuff before.
Yeah.
But I was like, whoa, you guys, you're driving like 20 hours and bringing this kind of food? What?
I know. It was amazing.
It was kind of incredible.
I mean, there was no Ronnie Jambalaya, but.
No,
but we had the Rice Krispie bars, which, by the way, we still need the recipe for the Rice Krispie bars because they were not normal Rice Krispie bars.
Oh, they weren't?
No.
I tried to stay away from those because they look dangerous.
They were dangerous. I ate one and was like, nope, can't go back. Nope.
Oh, no. I think I ate half the pan. And then there were the other cookie stuff that was on the other side of it.
It was so good.
Yeah. They were fantastic. So, yes, all I know is that everything was fantastic. And then Alyssa, who is like distraction camp extraordinaire person.
Yes, probably one of the most organized, like event organized I think I've met. It's like, okay, it's like it comes down to like, okay, it's a science.
Yeah.
And let's keep this train on its tracks and just keep it running.
You need this where? Okay, got it. And it's like you turn around. She's like, this is located exactly here. Yeah. And you've got this here and this here and this here. And you're like,
yeah,
okay, wow.
Yeah. It's hard to find people that think ahead. Like a lot of people need to be told every single thing to do and then do it in this order and do it in this way. And if something isn't quite the way you say, then they kind of melt and they don't know what to do. Right. And she goes with the flow. She knows what to expect. She definitely has a handle on us. So that also makes it so helpful. She knows our quirks.
Yeah.
And even if she might want to stab us in her sleep, it's okay.
She deserves to.
Yeah, she does. Because she's like, how many times is it changing? I'm like, we're on year 4. It shouldn't change that much.
Yeah. So, I mean, it changes a little bit.
But that's also speaks to how we adapt to our students and what's happening in the time and then on farm. And there's a lot of stuff that we have to adapt to and be flexible. So it's so great having, I'll say, staff that can do that with us. So again, huge kudos and thank you to everyone that helped us.
Very
awesome.
Yes, thank you guys. Thank you. I mean, and I think that ultimately the ones that really benefit are the students, and the smiles at the end of the week is really where it all comes out. When people say, I knew it was going to be great, but this was so much better than that.
Yeah.
It's just because it's a whole experience. It's not just the instruction or anything. It's the whole experience that I know they really appreciate.
Right.
So.
Okay, guys, takeaways.
I enjoyed some of the videos too we've shared on Facebook. If people haven't seen those.
Oh my gosh.
Those are kind of silly.
They're the best. Those are funny.
There's
fun. A few little clips of somebody will ask a question, and the only way to illustrate it, you've got to get a Kato board and start swinging in there, and you've got to get Stacy on a leash, and you've got to make climb cars, and there's how else do you explain things? I mean, really, is there any other way that we could possibly illustrate that stuff without,
No, you can't.
We definitely have a silly side in some areas. And that exercise, that climb car exercise was amazing because all that handling that we talked about, and then we did the vehicle search after that with a big tractor.
Yeah, it worked out really well.
I'm so thankful, Stacy, that you're okay, because after she threw you under the bus like that, that was
yeah,
scary.
actually we have video.
And pictures of you being thrown under the bus. Yes.
I'm thankful I'm okay too, because I that was crushing. Sorry.
Oh my God.
Takeaways. So my major takeaway is that I am still in awe. I mentioned this at the beginning of the podcast about how every year the transformation, I just find it so inspirational, and how people truly come, they trust the process. They're like, this is not like other seminars that we go to. And they're just like, okay, hit the believe button and trust us to kind of take them on this week-long journey that they say is just so, you see it in their dogs, and you see it in on how they interact with their dogs. And when you see some of them come back, to do it again, either with a different dog or with the same dog, and you see the difference in them, it makes me look teary-eyed and choked up and everything. It's just beautiful. And there's nothing like it. Love it.
I will say some of my takeaways this year are the repeat students who came back because they knew that it was going to be more beneficial for their relationship with their dog to come back and redo this workshop than going to intentional handling and hide setting, because they had more things to learn. Seeing the growth in those, and we had one student come back even with a different dog, and listening to her talk to herself throughout the week on how she had to train the dog in front of her and watch her go through that process was inspiring for me as I'm pulling in. I have 2 new puppies with a third on the way. You always have that comparison piece that happens, but to have all of that go on and then have the handler on the last day, and then to have that handler on the last day who said, my dog showed up yesterday.
Yeah.
And today is not her day. And I've been doing a lot of thinking about that, because we have, by time this airs, hopefully everything's starting to shut down. But in the middle of distraction camp, we have everything that's going on in Texas. And there's all of this fur within the search and rescue world of don't go do things that you're not trained to go do. And to have a handler that said, you know what? My dog showed up yesterday. I don't need to push her into doing things today that she doesn't want to do, was so refreshing. And I was so incredibly proud of her for advocating for her dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then the dog had glorious fun rolling in the dirt. So
yes,
it was awesome.
One of the things that stuck with me, and I made a Facebook post about it because I did a whole bunch of reflectings. That's what we do, right? I mean, after events like this, you can feel the ripples, you can feel the energy. You have people writing amazing comments saying that it's a soulful experience. And those words go to our soul. We hear you, and it means a lot to us. We appreciate you. The comments that the students have written have been, I even had to make a post about how I'm learning how to say thank you, even because I recognize that that's something I want to work on, because I hear you in my soul, truly. So thank you for the kind words. One of the things that Nancy said was, how am I bringing my love to this moment? And I had mentioned that to the students about how am I bringing joy to this moment? And the other flip side of that is it's already there. So when you're saying, how am I bringing connection to this moment? It means the connection's already there. And how are we accessing it? And I think that's where all of our students shined so much because they had the joy and they had the connection. And sometimes it was just about how can I tweak it in a way to make it even more powerful in this moment through these distractions, through these searches. And I love how one of the students had said, instead of calling it distraction camp, you should call it relationship camp. Yeah. And that always stuck with me because it really does become that, because when you have that connection, that's what helps you overcome those distractions. And I think that's what all of the students really were empowered to do. I also want to say thank you to both of you, because every time I teach with you, I learn more. You know, in the donkey barn, Stacy dropped some gems out there that are still tingling in my brain where I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see that. I can see how others doing that. Yeah. Well, talking about like the exterior corners, you know, and it's things that I've seen, you know, and things that I understand. But then when you say it, it puts it back and it locks it in the right moments. And watching Robin play with her puppy and hearing the coaching and the takeaways that students are getting. And every time I'm learning new things. And so that's a big thing for me too, that I appreciate so much, is getting to continue to learn. You know, I'm learning from all the students. Even I love with Eddie, how we could do the drive building for the dog that she's like, he likes toys at home, but never anywhere else. And we had him so crazy about the toy, and not in all moments yet, but it's going to take time to build, you know, but it was cool that she could see the possibilities. Or taking a gas pump, or no, nothing about gas pump nozzles. Sorry, nothing about that.
No.
Happens at distraction camp, stays at distraction camp.
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh, it was just fun. There's so many inside jokes that we have.
Yes.
And I love the ripples that go out from this.
Yes. And to have students from Vermont, Canada, New Jersey, I don't even know, I think Colorado, Oklahoma.
Kind of all over. Yeah.
All over.
Yeah.
It was fun to
Did you say Vermont?
Vermont. Yeah. 22 hours. Yeah.
Not 22 hours from Vermont.
That's how her drive time to get here. Yeah.
I mean, mine was 35.
Oh, maybe it was. Okay. So actually, I'm sitting here going, it's not 22 hours because I'm like, you know, the eastern side of Pennsylvania, like New Jersey. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. It takes a lot more time to get.
Yeah. All the way up there. Anyway.
I wasn't doing math well.
No mathing. All right.
No mathing.
No mathing. All right, you guys. So the next episode is going to be the download from intentional handling and hide settings. So you're going to get 2 episodes of that back to back. Thank you all for listening. And we will open registration for distraction camp and intentional handling and hide setting probably around the first of the year. So continue to check out the Facebook page and the website for those details. Thanks and go train.
Canine Detection Collaborative. We appreciate the time you spend with us. If you liked this episode, not only should you follow us so you don't miss the next one, but please also rate and review us in your favorite podcast app. For info on collaborating with us, go to k9detectioncollaborative.com. That's K9detectioncollaborative.com, where you can find our socials and pick up our latest monthly freebie. Join us again to talk training in the next episode.